What's up, Soul Family? Coming at you with another collective reading. This one's gonna be about. Drop like half the deck. Boot. And that is increase your efforts if you want to achieve your goals. So maybe this is for a collective who has ideas or concepts they're trying to work on, but they have yet to really put motion behind it. And sometimes that's where we are. Sometimes we're in the phase in which we're actually starting to ponder and figure things out, and then we're meant to, after we have these ideas, then start to act towards them. And then with the Ace of Pentacles that just fell out, it makes me feel like, okay, so yeah, this is definitely something that you're working towards to bring in money or abundance or bring in opportunities in general. But before I continue, if you guys are interested in a one-on-one reading, you can do so by directly messaging me. The first reading is going to be 35 for up to 20 minutes, and you can ask whatever questions you want, or I can simply pull cards and see what comes out. If for whatever reason it doesn't resonate, then I'll simply refund you. That being said, before I go into more tarot, and I actually used the wrong deck, I'm going to pull like 2 more oracle cards. Well, 3. So we have Skull, which is hidden secrets can harm you. Target, again, with goal-oriented person. And then we have Scales, which is keep your life in balance. So already I feel like whoever this is telling you, yes, increase your efforts, but balance it out. Like, don't be one of those, or don't allow yourself to feel like you have to pretty much like, by increasing your efforts, you have to go all in to the point where you're like breaking yourself down. I think many times, so I'll go to the Ace of Cups in a second. I think many times, like when we're working towards a goal or something, there's like a balance between us burning ourselves out or simply then working towards it like with discipline. And I think we just have to find sometimes a balance of doing so in a way that's not going to destroy us. And then at the Ace of Cups, I'd like to think that this is something that is really fulfilling, something that's like that breath of, or that really cold cup of water, like on a hot summer day. So whatever you're working towards, it has the great potential to not only bring opportunities to you, but then also be something that is fulfilling, enriching, and really lifts you up or makes you feel like really connected or fulfilled or whole even. So I think it's definitely something that you might be very connected to. It's just a matter of continuing to balance out both responsibilities and, or I would say responsibilities, other aspects of your life, and then whatever you're working towards. Then we have the Six of Wands. So you're going to be successful. It's going to work out. It's going to go in your favor. It's just a matter of continuing down the path. And sometimes we don't always see the path as we're walking down it or necessarily know how things are going to work out. But we get a lot of signs sometimes. And this could be a very strong indication that this is going to work out for you. And then we have the World and the Two of Swords. So maybe, exactly, so you might really not be able to see the path as you're walking down it right now, but maybe you're about to get to the end of it. You're about to close out a major chapter and milestone by continuing to act and continuing to move towards what you're going to, or what you're trying to manifest and bring in. So I think we definitely just have to do the best that we can to navigate through this blindness and confusion and disorientation with our intuition and continuing to trust that whatever we are seeing, whatever vision that we have, will work out the way that we are hoping for it to. And then here's the energy of not giving up. So I always mix up the 7 and the 8 in this deck. But this is definitely the energy of not giving up too soon before you start to bear fruits for the seeds that you planted. So sometimes, again, there's so much roots, or there's so many roots that are growing underground, and then we never see that. We only see the fact that there's nothing above ground. And this is that energy of little patience, just a little bit more. And I know I'm tired of hearing that sometimes too, in readings and stuff like that in general, but sometimes that is just the nature of whatever we're manifesting or whatever we're building. I think we're so used to seeing so many creators on here talking about how manifestation's instant that we really don't fully grasp what that means. Many times and yes, you can instantly manifest things, but many times what people actually mean when they say manifestation's instant is the second you have an intention, there's a version of you in the future that quite literally has achieved that. So then you have to then do the work or lay the foundation to then bring whatever it is in. So sometimes you already have those avenues, you already have those channels, you already have the means for whatever you're trying to manifest to come into your life easily. Sometimes you have a lot of gears or rockets geared towards the opposite of what you're trying to manifest. So for instance, say you're trying to manifest like $10,000, but you already have multiple businesses. You know what I mean? It might be easier for you to then expect $10,000 to fall into your laps through those modalities versus somebody who has absolutely no no channels for that to flow through. So yes, you can technically still have $10,000 pop up to you out of nowhere, but when you set the foundation and when you set things into motion and when you actually have mechanisms and systems built in that work with the physical 3D reality and not against it, it helps you bring in abundance. So I will always be one of those people that tell you, yeah, you can manifest technically a castle falling out the damn sky, but it's also very important to keep in mind that not everything is always instant. And whenever I think of the King of Wands, it makes me think of the energy of somebody who has their eyes on the vision. It's like they have their eyes across the horizon as they're walking towards whatever goal they have. So definitely don't give up too soon, especially when you see what you want and where you're getting to. Sometimes the journey is just step by step, and that can be difficult, tumultuous, and draining, especially if you're in the middle of the desert and you see this giant oasis across the field. But that's the only way you'll get to it, is by taking that step after step after step after step. And then the Page of Pentacles. So in order to then bring in all these opportunities, sometimes we have to learn. We have to be in the position to gain knowledge and simply be in the energy of receiving whatever the next hint is, whatever the next clue is, whatever the next action is to then get us to where we're trying to get to. There are people who have countless different skills, but then they just don't know how to monetize it. So then the issue becomes learning how to then create money or abundance from what skills you already have. And there are countless people who have skills that easily can go on TikTok and just make lots of fucking money if they were to post about it or share it or anything like that. But it's not always clear to see in the moment. Especially if you don't necessarily, or if there are not necessarily a lot of people making money in that way. You might have to create that avenue for yourself. And then we have the Judgment card. So this is definitely the energy of trusting like our intuition, trusting our connection to like our higher selves, the universe, God, whatever the fuck you call it, and trusting our guides to, or trusting our connection to it to get us to where we got to get to. It's not always easy, especially when we are navigating through the physical realm, and there's always a good level of balancing out when you are taking practical actions and then as well as trusting your intuition to allow the magic to happen. So sometimes there are levels and there are periods and times like we're simply being called to trust, especially when we're not seeing like a lot of movement underground, or we're not seeing a lot of movement in the way that we're hoping for. I think sometimes it gets very easy to be discouraged, but I think with these two especially, it's the energy of really being patient and really trusting that what we're connected to and the signs that we're getting and the intuition that we are following is actually leading us to where we want to be, even if we cannot grasp that in the moment. And then we have the Nine of Cups on the bottom of the deck. So whatever this is, you're working towards being very fulfilled and content. And I think it's something that you'll be able to really notice even like within yourself. Like the Nine of Cups sometimes is the energy of, like the Ten of Cups sometimes is the energy of shared fulfillment with other individuals, but the Nine of Cups sometimes has the energy of that individual aspect. So maybe it's something that you yourself will really know how important this is to you, and you'll be the one to really enjoy and feel connected and feel fulfilled through whatever you're birthing. Like granted, it's not to say that you're not going to share with other people too, but it could be something that's deeply personal to you and something that you've put a lot of intention behind. So keep going, it'll work out, and trust that whatever you're working towards is going to be birthed in the way that you want it to, or even better, because sometimes we don't always see the full vision as things are being formed. But that being said, peace and blessings, and I'll catch you guys in the next reading.